next.
Yeah. Hey, Amy. Can you hear
How
me
are you?
okay?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. That's the
We're going
always
from procure to pay to sales tax. What's better than that?
you tell me. So I'll anyone that is super interested or loves sales tax, please put a note in the chat and I will we'll have our recruiter reach out after this session. I'm always looking for people. So um what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a couple slides and then I am going to jump into a demonstration as well. So first, give me 1 second and I'll share my screen and just let me know if you're able to see this slide. Um, so what does Avalara do? We're an automated transactional tax solution. So we help automate the complexities around sales and use tax. But we also do so much more. So what I'm gonna do today is kind of talk through a specific scenario, and we'll walk through the Avalara platform and how we help solve these types of scenarios. So when we talk about sales tax compliance, one of the lesser known facts is around understanding where you have nexus. So understanding where you've created that link to a state where you get lucky and then become a tax collector for that state. Once that happens, then you have to register to collect and remit tax. Then you have to actually calculate the tax, which when I came over here about 10 years ago, I'm like, oh, so calculating sales tax, 7.5%. That's going to be super easy. Little did I find out that it's not 7.5%. Then you also have this concept of tax exemptions, or you have sales that are tax exempt. So it's important to collect those tax exemptions. And then finally, you have to remit that tax back to the correct authorities. Um, I'm going to show this next slide. So there's a new concept called economic nexus. It's been around for about 5 years. You used to have to have a physical presence in a state, but now, fortunately for everyone, you can just sell into the state and you have to start collecting tax. And two other slides that I really like to show. This one really caught my attention because these two guys are next door neighbors in Commerce City, Colorado. This guy right here at 7495 Locust Street has a sales tax rate of 9.25%. His next door neighbor at 7501 has a sales tax rate of 4.75%. I'm pretty sure the realtor didn't tell him about it when he moved in, but also pretty sure that these two individuals are very good friends because a lot of their packages get delivered next door. Um, so with that being said, I am going to kind of jump into my demo so you can see. And as we're talking about taxes and different tax scenarios. Was recently working with a company that was based out of Texas. They were selling all over the country and they were collecting sales tax on every single order. They were only registered in the state of Texas. So they were collecting Texas sales tax for their sales all over the country. And this, is slightly more common than you probably could imagine. These companies register and they realize, oh, hey, now I need to collect sales tax, but I'm not registered in these other states, so I'm just going to collect this sales tax. So one thing I wanted to start with is our Avalara tax research tool. So this is a fantastic tool for companies that are just getting started, have questions, anything like that. I'm going to start with the tax answers piece. And for this company, this particular company based out of Texas, we'll click on how you need. Well, first we can click on registration and doing business. When I click on that, it's going to ask me which state. I'm going to look at the state of Texas, and then it's going to bring me to here where I can look at all of these different scenarios and how to answer them. And then also hands me over with the proper tax rulings and sections of the state, so you don't have to know those things. Now what I'm going to do is so I'm selling software. And so I'm going to type in software as a service. When I type that in, it's going to give me a bunch of different software as a service answers. I'm going to click into this one because it says Texas, and it's going to tell me exactly what's going on with software as a service. So in the state of Texas, this company was only taxing 80% of what they should have been taxing for the rest of the country because software is only taxable at 80% in Texas. If I click this little compare button on the left, it's going to show me every single state and how it's taxed across the country. So it gives you all that very quickly. It's all right there for you. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was just for this company in particular, they're going to have to come and get refunds from the state of Texas. So we're going to go back, applications of doing business, refunds and credits. We're going to click state of Texas. And here it is. Here's everything you need to know about refunds, the process, and then the policies with the state. So that's a fantastic way to start. Then we also have our software. So once you get logged into the Avalara software system, we can keep up with those crazy Nexus requirements on your behalf. So as you can see right here, when you first log in, you'll see economic thresholds for remote sellers. So what this is doing is this is tracking your sales so that we are able to let you know if you've crossed one of these economic thresholds. And as you can see, we've colored a map. If a state is orange, that means that you've crossed a threshold. If it's gray, it means that you haven't crossed that threshold yet, or you're already registered. So then right here, we have a breakdown of each state that you have met that Nexus threshold. So you'll see Alaska, the threshold is $100,000, but your company has sold 384,000. So it's probably time to get registered. You can get registered right through the Avalara platform. So we can register you in each new state. Once you've done that, you'll want to add that state. And once you click that button, it's just as easy as coming over and checking the box for that state. Once you hit next, now Avalara is set up for that state. So now we've checked out where we have created a tax liability. We've registered where we have those tax liabilities. Now let's look up how we're going to calculate that tax. So the beauty of Avalara is over 1,400 different companies have trusted us to become part of their billing and invoicing systems. What that means is we're fully integrated with these 1,400 different companies so that when you create a sales order or an invoice, Avalara will be the ones populating the tax. You're not even going to know it's happening because it's happening behind the scenes. So what it's then doing is then pulling that transaction data into Avalara for reporting purposes. So if I click on this document, and this is for the state of Texas, you'll see that we have this line item for software as a service, which we now know is taxable at 80%. That's why when you see the amount 5,000, only 4,000 of it is taxable. So 80% is taxable. Then as I scroll down, you'll see we have found every jurisdiction at this particular point on the map. So you have a Texas state tax, a Texas county, a Midland county tax, and then you even have a Midland County hospital district. So that just means that we're within this transaction is happening within a certain perimeter of the Midland County Hospital that they've decided to implement a special tax for. But you can know when you're using Avalara, all of that is going to be automated. So now you don't have to worry about keeping up with these different jurisdictions. Avalara is doing that on your behalf. So now we've collected the proper tax. That's happening automatically in QuickBooks, in Shopify, and Adobe Commerce. Wherever those invoices are coming out of, Avalara is automating that for you. The next piece is the sales tax returns. So when I go to the sales tax returns and I click approve, it's going to bring you to this screen. We have broken out every single jurisdiction that you're registered in, and we'll show you the amount of tax that's due for this filing period, your total sales that are due. And all we ask that you do is you just come in here and click approve. So you'll go through, you'll check this number to your general ledger. So this 31,954.99 is what we're paying. Check this to your general ledger and you go down and click approve, and we will create, file, and remit these sales tax returns on your behalf. So now we've done our filing. The last piece that we have is around sales tax exemptions. So within the Avalara platform, we can manage those sales tax exemptions. Very similar to how each state has different tax rules and has different tax jurisdictions, they also have different taxing exempt forms. So you have different reasons that a company could be tax exempt. So each reason could be a separate form. Each state could be a separate form. So what we'll do is we will automate that collection, storage, and tracking process. And then you can see right here in the overview, Avalara is denoted, we have 6 certificates that are expiring within 30 days. I'm going to come here. Yep, looks good. I'm going to request these certificates. I'm going to want to email. I'm going to say email 1. And then once I hit next, it shows me a preview of what that looks like. And I'll come over here. So this is an email that your client would get. When I click into that email, it's going to take me to a collection or a exemption certificate collection platform where your client or your customer just hits create requested document. They're going to select what they're selling. It's going to pull information from Avalara so we know what they're doing. And then they're just going to type in their name. They're going to type in their title, expiration if that's applicable, and they'll sign it with their mouse, hit next, and then that's going to populate back into your exemption certificate platform. More than happy to take a deeper dive if any of this caught your attention or caught your mind, but I do want to be mindful of time. So Amy, I'm right at the 30-minute mark, so my allotment is over. And feel free, if anyone really loves doing sales tax, feel free to reach out. Always happy to chat.
Thanks, Chris. And just as a little backstory, I used to work for Avalara, so I know how confusing sales tax is. And actually, before I started working there, I never realized how much I would learn about sales tax, or want to learn, or not want to learn about sales tax. And
Yeah.
and now flip to owning my own business. I use QuickBooks for all of my invoicing and such. And now I don't even want to deal with payroll tax ever in my life. So yeah, taxes, I don't want to deal with any of it.
No, no one does. No one does. Get them out of here. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If you don't want to deal with sales tax or payroll tax, put that in the chat because I know I don't want to.